as I said, as a senator and a vice president. While they clearly will not prevent every tragedy, we know certain ones will have significant impact and have no negative impact on the Second Amendment.
Good morning. Okay. Wow. I don't think I've seen this many anchors and comedians cry.
Yeah.
Since, probably, I don't know, I'm going to say Sandy Hook. It's just, every detail that comes out is more horrific than the last. And by the way, wow, there goes their whole good guys with a gun scenario, right?
They waited outside
for
that
an
the cops
hour.
waited outside while this went on.
While the
A bunch
parents
of-
were begging them to go in.
Yeah.
They are cowards.
And there was an armed guard there, in addition to that he apparently engaged with. They are outgunned.
Every
by an
police
18-year-old
officer-
that can just... by the way, Chris was here doing production when I was working out yesterday when the Greg Abbott press conference was. How much yelling did you hear, Chris?
A lot.
Yeah.
Did you burn some calories?
When he said, it could have been worse. Oh, my God, I've never screamed so many F-bombs in a row. Really? Well, that's a great comfort to the 21 families this morning. It could have been worse? I'm like, really? It could have been raining? What's your point? It could have been. And he used that to thank the police. I'm like, really? And did he know any of this yet?
10-year-old shot in the face, and it could have been worse?
Oh, it could have been worse. Oh, so we should be grateful for yesterday? You bastard. Oh, my God. I don't, okay. As many people have started pointing out, Scotland, Australia, this happened once. Once they enacted gun control. You know how many times it's happened again? Zero. That's why Ted Cruz has got to be such a giant pussy and ran away from this Sky News. Is it Sky News reporter?
Yes.
Who gets the Eric Bollard Award this morning. He was, of course, at a vigil for Robb Elementary School, and he opted to walk away from tough questions asked by a British journalist who said, the British Sky News reporter asked why American exceptionalism is so awful in the context of mass shootings that only seem to proliferate in the United States. Cruz said, I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful. You've got your political agenda. God love you. And then walked away. What a coward. What a spineless coward.
We'll have that audio for you in just a moment.
I guess you all know the stats, but it was the 213th mass shooting in the United States this year.
Yeah.
It's May. It was the 27th school shooting in the United States this year. It was the 554th school shooting since Columbine in 1999. Guns are now the leading cause of childhood death in America, topping car accidents. Jimmy Kimmel did a beautiful monologue, cried. I mean, I don't know how you can't. These pictures, by the way, someone else brought up what someone brought up on the show yesterday. I mean, and I do agree, it would totally be up to the parents, but about showing the bodies, showing the video, I don't know what it's going to take. But God bless Beto O'Rourke for doing something different.
Yeah.
And speaking out and calling which is what my shirt is today. Remember Emma Gonzalez? We call BS, one of the Parkland kids, on this. He has done everything he can to make getting a gun. You can't even buy a beer in Texas. He bought his gun legally the minute he turned 18. 2 of them, assault weapons. And
how many rounds of ammunition? How
and
many
they
rounds?
did their usual like, the gun laws didn't prevent in New York and what. Everybody knows. All you got to do is go across the border to Pennsylvania and get a gun if you're in New York. All you got to do is go across the border from Chicago into Indiana. Yeah. They love to. Chicago's code for black, Chris. We know what you're trying to say.
Yes, I know. And
it's not mostly, but it's mostly white kids that do this. And it is mostly that age group, 18, whatever. Oh, my God. I can't even. Okay. We have Carl Frisch. We have Dr. Red Leonard. We have Fred Gutenberg. And we have Victor Shai, who is a...
Jill Weinbanks' co-host.
Yeah. Sophomore at UCLA talking about the youth vote. I mean, guess what? Not getting shot to death in school is a big issue.
Yeah.
For he's Generation Z. Anyway, and Fred Gutenberg, as I said to you yesterday, Travis, I almost feel bad. He's been up, I don't know how many hours, as he does every time this happens, where we do our show in America, where we trot everybody out and make them perform their pain for us from the past shootings. But he does it because you can tell he really cares. He doesn't want another father to have a Jamie.
He wants change.
Right. Yeah. He does not want this to happen. He goes all over the country to wherever these happen and comfort.
It's his life's work
I
now.
think he's been up, like, I don't even know, 3 days in a row. He's been on TV every time I turn on the TV. The fact that he even said yes to us this morning at this hour is
Maybe we should offer him a sandwich.
oh my God. Okay. I just, you know what? I have to, as I always said, I marched with the Parkland kids, and it absolutely stuck with me forever, because I remember at the beginning of the march in D.C., I was with a group of them, and they played on the big screens the flashbacks, and they immediately all burst into tears and were re-traumatized. And all of the adults near them, we were all hugging them and holding them and going, oh my God, because that was what the march was for. But of course it re-traumatized them to just see the scenes again and the sirens. And David Hogg tweeted, I am so with him. He said, which is why, Chris, I need to be for optimism. He said, I've been working on this for 4 years and spent every day studying in college the history of how we got here, political science, behavioral economics, and reflecting on how we win. Mark my words, this time will be different. I believe that. Cheryl Eiffel,
I have to hope so.
who I
have
also
to hope
respect,
it's going to be different.
said, I don't have a lot of words today except to say that there is a concerted effort right now to convince you that nothing can be done. It is designed to make you give in to the exhaustion of this moment. Don't believe it. It's a lie. We have the power if we mobilize it, which is why I lost my when I saw your tweet bashing Democrats yesterday, Chris, because today is the day we need to all unite and create a blue tsunami. It is the only way we're ever going to change this, is to finally vote these mothers out, which is what I tweeted yesterday. And if you start going, oh, Democrats are too milquetoast. Well, guess what? Beto O'Rourke isn't. Ruben Gallejo isn't.
And
Senator
I
Murphy
said that,
isn't.
Stephanie.
Joe Biden
I said
isn't.
that, Stephanie.
Democrats are not.
I said that
This-
in my tweets yesterday,
This
Stephanie.
is entirely on Republicans. Entirely vote every single one out. Everyone.
Chuck Schumer gave a weak speech yesterday and
Chuck
did
Schumer-
he did not match
Okay.
the anger that this country is
I
feeling
understand.
yesterday.
Chuck
That
Schumer is
why-
not a great speaker. I get it. I've said a million times I wish we had a Pelosi in the Senate, but we don't. And he's tried to get this done a million times. We cannot fight amongst ourselves. We have got to create the blue tsunami.
The nation was angry
Jimmy
yesterday,
Jimmy
and the
Kimmel.
Democrats on Capitol Hill were not.
Oh,
They-
yes, they were.
They were not.
A lot of them were. And by the way, Jimmy Kimmel, thank you for absolutely specifically calling out Republicans. This is what a lot of people bulleting on Twitter are saying. Stop saying
Congress is not
politicians.
acting. It's
Congress isn't
Republicans
acting.
aren't acting.
Stop it. Yes. And Joe Manchin, as usual.
I
right?
wasn't talking about process
Okay.
yesterday. I was talking about the mood of the nation.
Right.
The leaders on Capitol Hill
Which is
did
why
not.
Beto O'Rourke matched.
Can you let me finish?
Yes.
The leaders on Capitol Hill did not match the mood of the nation. And people are wondering why there is an enthusiasm deficit
Okay.
with the Democrats on Capitol Hill. Their numbers are low, and that is why.
Okay, but I feel a lot of passion from Joe Biden about this, from Beto O'Rourke, from Senator Murphy,
Beto was great,
from
but
Ruben
he's not on
Gallejo,
Capitol Hill.
from AOC yesterday, from a lot of Democrats.
By the way, in our clips,
Yeah.
Veronica Escobar and Eric Swalwell were very vocal on this
Yes,
yesterday.
Swalwell has been terrific on this.
Yeah.
Adam Schiff is terrific on it. Veronica Escobar, yeah, give me, I guess, 9.
I would if.
Oh, no? Oh, sorry. Colonel Steve Austin, come to Mama.
Come on, move.
This morning's not the morning.
No.
Come here, biscuit.
He heard me yelling and wanted to comfort me.
Dr. Modi's food, Dr. Modi.
He thought it was going to be angry sex, is what
Did
he
you
thought.
see how that Dr. Marty worked?
Yeah,
Look at that.
yeah, exactly. Okay.
Also, I have a new dog trainer. Go to thedogwhisperer.com. He's the original one. It's
Okay.
fantastic.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
Easy for them to get a gun. And that's what America does that other countries do not. We also need to acknowledge that, especially after the pandemic, as folks were locked away and isolated, we should be surging more mental health resources to our communities, to our schools, to vulnerable populations, not fewer. So this is why I tell you it's about solving the problem.
That's why they can shut the up about. That was the other thing I was screaming at Abbott about. Mental health. Yeah. You
he cut the budget.
Cut the
Thank
budget
you.
like months before
won't
this happened.
expand Medicare, Medicaid, won't cut the budget. That's the first thing Donald Trump did when he got in office, was make it easier for mentally disturbed people to get guns. You can shut the up about mental health. And they have those problems all around the world. It's the guns, it's the guns, it's the... I love Ted Cruz is blaming doors now. There's too many doors.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry, Travis.
No, I was going to say, next time they bring up mental health, if it's a mental health issue, then say, okay, so are you in favor of having mental health screenings for everyone who wants to buy a gun?
They have no screenings in Texas.
They don't want anything
at all.
But if they're saying mental health is a problem, then maybe we should check their mental health before they buy a gun. Because I'm telling you, if you need to buy a gun that quickly, you need to buy that many rounds of ammunition for it, there's something wrong with you in the head.
And this is why I'm sure Abbott did what he did yesterday because of this story. Frustrated onlookers urged police officers to charge into the Texas school where gunman's rampage killed 19 children and 2 teachers. This makes me want to
I was
vomit.
screaming last night.
This massacre lasted 40 minutes. Can you imagine?
God.
Locked in one classroom. Can you imagine the terror? I don't know if I'm going to make it through this show. Just the terror of these children.
It haunts me.
And okay, 40 minutes. Nearby women shouted, go in there, at the officers soon after the attack began, said Juan Carranza, who saw the scene from outside his house. Carranza said the officers did not go in. Another witness whose 4th grade daughter was killed in the attack said he raced to the school when he heard upset police were not moving in. He raised the idea of charging into the school with several other bystanders. He said, let's rush in because the cops aren't doing anything like they're supposed to. More could have been done. They were unprepared. Officials say he, quote unquote, encountered a school district security officer outside the school. Good guy with a gun.
Yeah.
And there were conflicting reports whether they exchanged gunfire. After running inside, he fired upon 2 arriving police officers who were outside the building. Well, the one thing you understand is they were outgunned. The first 2 officers, I guess, were injured. And they're like, oh, we have to wait because he's better armed than we are. But there you go. 40 minutes later, okay. After entering the school, he charged into one classroom and began to kill. He barricaded himself by locking the door and just started shooting children and teachers that were inside that classroom. All of those killed were in the same classroom. They said 40 minutes elapsed to an hour from when Ramos opened fire on the school security officer to when the SWAT-like Border Patrol team shot. So the first team was not well armed enough. They had to wait for the SWAT Border Patrol tactical team. Border Patrol agents had trouble breaching the classroom door. They had to get a staff member to open the room with a key. Carranza said the officers should have entered the school sooner. There were more of them. There was just one of him. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, any cop who stood outside there like a chicken and wouldn't go in there, if they are not a vocal advocate for getting these weapons of war out of the hands of civilians, then they need to find a new job because obviously they're not cut out for this.
Yeah, is Greg Abbott going to have another press conference today where he says, oh, it could have been worse, and thanks again to all the great cops that, I mean, it's just, and they got madder at Beto O'Rourke than they did at the 19 dead children because of their laws.
Mayor guy. Oh my God.
My mom went off on him,
He called Beto
too.
a hole.
Yes,
and they're
he
saying
did.
Beto was completely respectful.
Absolutely.
And not swearing, not screaming, got in to
was
make a
challenging
point
them.
that all of America feels.
Yeah.
That this is on you. These are on the law. Oh, my God.
The way the mayor was screaming at Beto was very, you better learn your place, boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what I heard from that.
Oh my
It'll
God.
be fun
Please,
when Beto's the governor.
Please,
Yeah.
Texas, make Beto the governor.
Put that mayor in his place.
Yeah, you can tell the security officer in front was like, is this guy going to be my new boss? Don't know if I want to put hands on him.
Yeah.
This neighbor across the street, the grandmother, emerged covered in blood. She said, Berto, this is what he did. He shot me. So she's still obviously in the hospital. About a half hour before the shooting, he sent the first of 3 online messages about the attack. He wrote he was going to shoot his grandmother, then that he had shot her. And then in the last note, he said he was going to shoot up an elementary school. So I guess that solves this wasn't random, because we were saying, was he just running from the cops, and that's where he happened to run into. It seems like this also was planned.
Well, and there's also a story that his grandmother worked at that school.
Right. The Republican governor repeatedly talked about mental health among Texas young people. And I mean, here we go again with their same stupid, in every
Then do
law
something
they've
about
made
mental
has
health.
made that thing they said worse.
Yeah.
And by the way, yes, again, we can say this over and over again. Anyone knows in New York it's so easy to go across the border to Pennsylvania or in Illinois. You just go to Indiana.
Yeah.
That's why it's ridiculous. But Texas has obviously the most gun-friendly laws in the country. They've been the site of some of the deadliest shootings in the U.S. over the past 5 years. One of the aunt of one of the victims said, I just don't know how people can sell that type of gun to a kid 18 years old. What's he going to use it for but that purpose? Yeah. Of course. Oh, my God, these details. The students were watching the Disney movie Moana when they, Moana, am I saying that? Moana. When they heard several loud pops and a bullet shattered the window. Oh, my God, he has a gun. The teacher shouted twice. The teacher didn't even have time to lock the door. So even if This is what's like, I hate to say it, but yeah, until we do something about guns, like, yeah, I guess we have to make our schools like prisons. Yeah, I guess all the doors have to be locked. Yeah.